I feel like imposter syndrome is feeling like you're in a place where you don't belong, or that you've kind of, someone's going to catch you out in a sense, like, I shouldn't really be here. I've blagged my way here.
Yeah.
Do I really have the skills? Should I really pass that interview? Like, should I really be on this assignment? I'm just feeling like you need to be absolutely perfect to be considered for anything. Well, that's how I look at it. And I feel like that's how it plays out in my life. So it's not so much me thinking on paper, yes, I have all like the qualifications everyone else has. Yeah. Like, I've been to school, been to uni, done all of that kind of stuff. So I know that I should be here, but something in me feels like, oh, this space isn't for me. Like, how did I make it here? Like, I'm so lucky.
Did you feel that way when you went to uni as well? Because for me, I felt that way. Like,
really?
Because I guess my university was in like a white area.
Okay.
Even on course-wise, loads of females do psychology.
Oh, okay.
So,
what uni did you go to?
Oh, Kent.
Okay.
So I was in Canterbury. So that in itself, there's two things in it. One, I'm out of London. Another thing, more females than men.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't really care about education as well. Everyone seemed so keen to be there and so excited, and I genuinely didn't care.
You just kind of went.
Yeah, I was there in it. So for me, I thought that's the first time I really noticed the sort of like feeling of imposter syndrome.
I didn't get that uni. I went to Hertfordshire, so it was very black in a way. Like, I mean, the area at Hertfordshire is not black, but it was a very multicultural place, so you didn't feel like you were out of place. I would say for me, when I look back on my life, the first time really feeling like that was probably like me being like 8 to 9 years old, because I used to play netball. And I used to play for my borough.
Oh, baller, yeah.
I mean, I was a basketball player. Like, okay, that's my real thing. But
put your mic up a bit, please.
Yeah. So I used to play netball when I was younger. I really loved basketball, but there wasn't many kind of out of school basketball clubs, etc. So netball was one in my area. So obviously, netball is mainly for kind of, it's not a white sport. I wouldn't say it's a white sport, but a lot of the people that played at the time were like, you know, young white girls. And I grew up in Battersea. So in Battersea is a very different mix of people. So you have people from like Putney, Wandsworth, Wimbledon, Barnes.
Rich sides?
Yeah, these kind of areas. And then I was from like, I grew up in an estate in Battersea. So you were mixing with different people from a very young age. So I knew I was as good as them in terms of skill, but it was being around people that I wasn't used to being around. And like, I remember things like not being picked for like the A team and being on B team instead. And it was like, I'm clearly like better than all these people, but I don't kind of belong in this space. So I'm overlooked. So I was, obviously at the time, I didn't think, oh, this is imposter syndrome. Like, why did I feel like this? Because I was too young to even rationalize what I was feeling. But when I reflect and look back and like have conversations with my cousin who was also on the team, I can see what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that was like your first experience of it?
Yeah. When I think back, that was the first time I can think about having those feelings of, I'm 100% good enough. I'm probably one of the best players on this team, but still feeling like I shouldn't really be here, or that like, or if I get this pressure of like having to like perform at this high level, because if you don't, then they're going to see that you shouldn't really be here.
Yeah. All of this has come from inside as well. It's not even necessarily someone's actually told you this.
No.
All starts from inside. So where do you think, or how do you think it even comes about? What causes imposter syndrome? Because it's an internal thing, isn't it? I feel like it's something that can consist of many different factors. Yeah. So,
do you know what? I don't want to blame anything.
No,
or blame
them a minute. I'm joking now.
Because do you know what? My parents didn't actually say to me, "You need to be better than everyone. You need to do this. You need to do that." Like, I was never told that as a child. But when I think about shows that you watch, like kind of like Moesha, sister, there's always like the black mom or black dad telling them, "You need to be twice as good. You need to be this. You need to be that." So you internalize that kind of thinking and perspective unknowingly, and then it plays out into like different aspects of your life. And even now, like, I had a mid-year review with my manager last week, and we was talking, because in my role you've got to do really good on assignments, like with clients, as well as do good for the business. So like build different thought leadership, do different like extracurricular networking, etc. And I said to her, I feel uncomfortable to put myself forward for things because I feel like if I don't 100% know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to raise my hand and say, yeah, let me get involved. And she said to me, and she's a white woman, I'm not sure of her background, but I think she's, middle class, etc. And she said to me, people would rather you be really passionate than you know everything. Like if you go in with like a lot of passion, say I'm willing to learn, I'm ready to work, people are more likely going to want to work with you. And I realized I'm putting this pressure on myself.
Yeah.
And she's telling me like, stop doing that. Like it's fine. If you want to be involved, you can be. You don't need to know everything.
Yeah.
So that was
you find this out now.
Yeah.
So I think that's the issue. In terms of how it started, I guess part of it can be your parents, but I feel like it can be a race thing because like from the get-go, we've always felt like we don't belong here in the first place.
Yeah.
So I feel like that in itself can be an issue.
Yeah.
Also like your environment, whether you've been in an environment where it's very critical. So like your parents getting onto you every second, telling you you're not good enough, or could be like a relationship, trauma, I don't know, bullying, just the people around you as well, innit? So let's say, for example, in your local area, you haven't seen someone like you make it to a certain level or do a certain role. So when you step into that setting now, being the only person there, it doesn't really seem like you should be there. Like, what have you done to get there? Yeah. And so I feel like all of those things intertwine with each other to suggest that we don't belong. But I feel like it's very deeper than that though, because on a surface level, it just seems like it's calm, but it's actually deep because that can really affect whether you decide to apply for a job, whether you stay in the same place, whether you actually gain the best sort of experience out of life. Yeah. I know it's deep in it, but I honestly feel like this imposter syndrome alone can determine whether you have a successful life or not.
100%. And I'm a confident person. Yeah. So I've never let it stop me from doing something I wanted to do. Like I'm quite naturally curious. So I do want to try new things. Like just, that's my personality. And I think about, or when I think back and I look at my peers or people I went to primary school with, and I remember thinking like, why don't you guys want to do this too? Like, aren't you curious? Like I done so much random stuff when I was young, and I'd literally be on Google or like whatever it was back then. And like, Mom, like, can I do this? Can I do that? And she'd be like, yeah, that's fine. But like, no one else seemed interested. And I think that if they didn't have the confidence, they may have not had the confidence to step out of their box. Yeah. And if they did, there may be more of us now. Yeah. So it's like, it starts from such a young age.
Yeah. So do you feel like it's inherited then? Like, would you go that far to say it's inherited?
I feel like the way people treat you from like when you're younger naturally just rubs off on how you look at yourself and how you view yourself. So I don't think it's inherited, as in I don't think you're born day one, you have it. I think it's more conditioned. Yeah. Like just how people treat you. And it really goes into like self-esteem, confidence, what you think you can do.
Yeah, because you're right. Because I feel like you learn for yourself really. Like none of us have necessarily gone through slavery.
Exactly.
But we can still see the same sort of feelings of feeling that you don't belong in this place. Like even at our age, we can still say that we've had our fair share in terms of like understanding that we don't belong here. Well, we might feel as if people don't want us to be here as well. So you go into some work settings where you're also thinking the same thing, like whether you're the only black person there, you could be doing the best you've ever done, but in your mind, for some reason, you might still ask yourself that question, like, do they actually really like me? Am I actually doing it well? Are they thinking about how I speak? Are they judging me? Like, you're asking yourself all of these questions. So it can actually affect your mental health. Like when you actually be real about it, this can lead to anxiety, depression,
100%.
I don't know, like other stuff as well. So I was even looking at the symptoms of like imposter syndrome. So it could be anxiety, it could be being self-critical, it can be trying to be a perfectionist. There's another one, but all of those things can lead to habits that are not necessarily good for you, all because of how you're feeling.
Yeah.
So even in terms of what you're saying right now, have you ever shared this with anyone?
Yeah, I think definitely. I'm quite an open.
Is that only recently or before was you open with it as well?
I'm quite an open person, to be honest, and I don't shy away from these topics.
Yeah.
And I know for myself that I can kind of turn around and at work, for example, if I feel like someone doesn't like me or they're not kind of gravitating towards me because of my background's different or I speak a different way, then it's just like, yeah, and I'm not gravitating towards you also. So I'm trying to like, I've always not taken it as personal because I do realize like psychology, like people tend to be more drawn to people that are just like them.
Yeah.
So I'm not like them, so they're not going to naturally be drawn to me. Likewise, if I was in a situation and everyone was black, I'm probably not going to be drawn to the person who's complete opposite to me. So it's just the fact that there's less of us in that space to be getting drawn to each other. So I've always not taken it as personal because I don't feel like it's a me thing. It's not like people are not drawn to Lauren. It's kind of who Lauren is in a sense, but
I get
it's not like personally me. It's just something humans. We're just like this.
So do you feel like it's more of a human thing rather than?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's a natural thing. Like you're obviously going to be more comfortable around people that look like you and that have similar experiences to you.
I also feel like things like social media and like the news also give you the impression that you have to be perfect, and so when you feel as if that you're not really that great at your job or like you haven't reached that level of is it perfectionism or? Yeah.
Perfection,
that level of perfection, you might start to feel that you don't belong here. But the issue is people that have also had the same role as you or your manager might have not been as open, so they've just been knuckling down pretending that everything's good. But these times you've actually sat down with them and you had a conversation with them and you actually got really deep. They could also share the same experience and say to you that, you know what, when I was starting out, I was literally going through the same experience as you. If anything, it was even worse. But I feel like the issue is we don't actually open up and share our experiences, so we don't actually know how it's meant to be. Because you could be doing so well, whether it's in your career or business, but you'll be looking to the other person that you see doing well on Instagram that's just been doing so well, and they've never ever discussed a hard time. So you might feel, well, I must be doing something wrong because I'm going through a lot of stress. Yeah. So I feel like all of those things shape our sort of mindset in terms of why we feel like we don't belong or that we're not worthy. Yeah. Because realistically, who's perfect, innit?
Exactly. Like, I believe everyone is blagging it. Yeah. I don't believe like 5% of people I think actually know what they're doing. Yeah. And I will stand by that statement. Like, no one is perfect. No one actually has all the answers, and it's okay. Like in my job now, what I really love about working there is that like if you're having a conversation with like a partner or a managing consultant, whatever, if you ask them a question and they don't know, they'll say, do you know what? That's a really good question. I haven't considered that. Let me take that away. And that's completely fine. I have an answer. I've never been in an organization where you can just frankly say, do you know what? That's a really good question. Like, let me take that away.
Why do you think we're lying? Why do you think we're blagging it?
Because we feel like we have to know the answer.
But you know what? I'm not going to lie. I feel like before we did. I feel like only now people are being a bit more accepting to the fact that we don't know everything. But I feel like it's come from somewhere. I don't feel like it's just come out of the blue. Because
because people are sharing a bit more now and admitting it and being confident enough to say, I don't know. And standing on that.
Yeah. Because everyone's blagging it. Like, everyone's trying to act like it's calm. And I think that's the issue. We're all trying to act like we're perfect or we're trying to strive for perfection. Perfection, that's it.
Yeah. No one's perfect.
That's mad. So like in terms of your experiences of imposter syndrome, where would you say you've experienced it most? Has it been outside of work or has it just been mainly work?
I would say mainly work. Definitely. So right now I'm in consulting. So I joined a management consultancy firm, and it was actually a journey for me to even get into this job role because a lot of people, so traditionally you had to go to like a Russell Group university. You have to do case study interviews to get into these job roles. So literally someone like 20 minutes before your interview, they send you a business case and you've got 20 minutes to figure out a solution, and then you get on a call with a consultant and you have to pitch them your idea. So you've got to like study for it. You've got to like be able to problem solve and think on your feet. So already I'm like, oh my God, like, how am I going to do this? But obviously I passed, I managed to do it. But that career path wasn't something I ever considered before. Like, I didn't even really know about it. And then once I found out about it and all the things that you need to do, I was thinking, oh God, like, I've already missed my chance. I didn't go to a Russell group. I didn't get 3 stars in A level. Like, I've missed this shot. Like, I can't do it now. But obviously I found a way to do it. So already when I was getting in there, I was thinking, okay, well, everyone else, they've all gone to Russell Group. They all have 3 A stars.
Oh, so you actually asked them as well?
Well,
so
I'm assuming.
Oh, you're assuming.
I actually don't know.
Yeah.
That's just the impression I got.
So that's another thing. Yeah. You're assuming, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just assuming. Yeah. And then I think within the first few weeks, like, you have all these networking calls, you meet a lot of people and they tell you a bit about them. And I just met a diverse group of people that, even if they are white, most of them, but not all of them came from this privileged background and went to these Russell Group universities. Like, a lot of them were just like me. Yeah. And it was me putting my impression on people, or assuming things about people that I don't even know. And it was the same thing that I would complain about people doing to me. And I had to, like, check myself and be like, do you know what? I need to start taking people at face value and not assuming their whole life story without even speaking to them. So that's kind of helped me come out a bit and be a bit more open, even having that discussion with my manager and just admitting I feel uncomfortable to do it. And her response to me was, made me feel so much better. So I've recognized I had it in the beginning, and I still do have it a bit now, but I'm trying to consciously come out of it.
Yeah. So you think there's a cure then?
I mean, no, I think it will always happen because you can be in so many scenarios.
They're pessimistic though. No,
I just feel like in life though, you're going to, like, even if you become a new parent, like, you're going to be feeling like, oh my gosh, like, how do I do this? Like, like, you're going to feel like you're not good enough. Like, you're always going to go in scenarios in life where you have no experience and you feel like, I really shouldn't be doing this. Yeah.
I think that's the thing though, like, it's fine. Like, I think we just need to accept it. We're not perfect.
Exactly.
And I feel like once we just acknowledge that or accept it, then we'll be more accepting and we'll calm down. Yeah. Because it's a lot of pressure. But in terms of, like, let's say, in your family or your friendship group, have you noticed any sort of, like, I don't know, trend in terms of, like, the feeling of, like, that they don't deserve their positions, or do you feel like it's something that's not really spoken of as much?
I think my family, my family, I come from a big family. So my mum has, like, 8 siblings and, like, seven of them live in the UK. So I have like a lot of cousins, and we're all the same. It's about 10 of us, like a 5-7 year, like, age span. So, and everyone's very confident. So probably I've had this conversation with 1 or maybe 2 of my cousins before, but none of my family are, like, quiet, meek people. Yeah. So I didn't really have that option growing up to be like, oh, in the corner, like, oh no, Lauren doesn't want to.
But then again, have you asked them?
Yeah, like, we have conversations about, obviously, not like anxiety, all these kind of things at work, but no one's let it really hinder them in a sense. Everyone's quite, like, a go-getter, very confident in their abilities. So, in the friends-wise, I can't really say that. I mean, family-wise, I can't really say that. And with my friends, I'm actually very proud of all my friends, All of my friends are go-getters, like, really good in their careers, like, leading. I'm sure they have had these feelings and emotions before, but I guess we haven't really discussed it because it's not something that's ever hindered us or perceived to have hindered us. So it's not a subject of conversation. But my friends are really good business women.
Because a lot of your friends are doing well. Jade is doing well as well. Doing really well.
Exactly.
But even in terms of, like, compliments, are you someone that's able to, like, take compliments or praise from, like, your managers or whoever it is? Because that's also an issue. That's like a drawback, because someone that's constantly just rejecting any form of praise, that's just allowing you to feed into the feeling that you don't actually belong or you're not good enough.
Do you know what? Yeah, I feel like I'm just a contradiction because I love compliments. Yeah. I hate criticism. Yeah, that's what I struggle with. Yeah. So But in a sense, like if I know I'm doing well at something, like if I'm got a job, I'm on an assignment, I'm going to go all in. Like I'm going to make sure all my T's are crossed, all my I's are dotted because I have imposter syndrome and because I don't want anyone to be able to call me out on something that I've done because I want it to be perfect. So that's more
the perfectionist side.
That's the perfectionist side of things. Yeah. But the compliments, I'm like, you're damn right. Yeah. Yeah. Lauren did do that. That's how I feel.
Yeah. But at the same time, I guess in a way you're looking for that as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I want to hear that I'm doing a good job.
But if you wasn't to hear it, what then?
Boy.
Like imagine you went months or a year without hearing any form of praise. Like would that really get to you?
Yeah. I'd feel unappreciated. And I feel like that was a big reason why I left my old job because it was like, no, I'm actually working hard here and it's just not being recognized. But also, I've realized about myself, as much as I want to do really good in my role, I don't really like to go above and beyond that.
Yeah.
I don't want to stay late and do all these things. Like I'm happy to do it once in a while, but I don't want it to be a continuous thing. So I'm never going to be that person if it's like a group of people that's like, yeah, let's give it to Lauren because I'm not going to put myself through that. I want to be happy and I'm not going to work myself to the bone.
Yeah.
So I also recognize that I'm not always going to be the one that gets all the compliments because people like people that go above and beyond and don't establish boundaries.
Yeah, yeah.
So my line manager,
most, man.
Yeah, my line manager was even like, I don't have to worry about you because I know you're good at setting boundaries because I am. So, yeah.
In terms of like, I don't know, like thought challenging because like I know you said you're good in terms of like imposter syndrome is not affecting you as much as it was before, but if you was to give someone advice that's going through right now, like what would you say is the way or like tips that they can actually I wouldn't say get rid of it, but manage it?
I would say the first step is to be self-aware. So understand what you're really good at, what you're not so good at, and sometimes don't put everything as imposter syndrome. Yeah. Sometimes you're not good at what you're doing and you need to get better and that's okay. But sometimes we have the tendency of like thinking things are other things. And that's what I've done. And been able to accept that, okay, Lauren, you're not good at this. This is why you have anxiety about presenting about it. Like, let's not kind of put it on imposter syndrome. Yeah. And recognizing what actually is going on behind the imposter syndrome, like what's actually making me feel like this and breaking it down. I feel like a lot of people, all races, like really struggle with self-evaluation.
100%.
And I feel like that's the key to like being able to really establish what you're actually feeling and go from there. I don't know if that's advice, but that's where I would start.
And anything else like?
And just talk about it. Like speak to your line manager, speak to other people at work, try to do things to build your confidence. Like at the end of the day, if you feel like you don't belong somewhere, what can make you feel like you belong? Yeah. Break it down to that. And whatever that is for you, try to do it. If it's gaining a new skill, certification, getting, I don't know, whatever it is, try to do that to overcome it. Like do small steps. And if it's your job, because sometimes your job is just not a good environment for you, get a new job. Be in a place where you feel like you will be comfortable and go from there. No,
that's really good advice, man. Honestly, I can see you're definitely taking that on board. Like, you didn't stay where you was as well. No. Keeping it moving. That's what I love about our generation as well, that if you're not getting what you feel like you should be getting, people are more open to moving in comparison to before. But I feel like there is an advantage because like the older generation never really had the resources or maybe the opportunities to do so like we do right now. Yeah. So I think another thing people need to take into consideration is the whole concept of pluralistic ignorance. So like the idea that we feel as if that we're the only ones going through this situation, not realizing that everyone else is also going through the same thing. Exactly. Like we always act like we're the only one, and so because of that, no matter what position you're in, like you can just think about this example or analogy. Like let's say, for example, you snuck into a club and then you're just thinking about the bouncer that's going to finally catch you. The same thing with imposter syndrome. Like you're in a position but you're constantly just waiting for someone to call you out and just show that you really don't belong here.
Yeah.
And so you might not ever get someone that calls you out, but you're the only person that's telling yourself this. So you're just eating yourself up throughout the whole time you're in a role, whatever position you're in. And that in itself is just going to limit you from moving forward. So I feel like it's just understanding that you're not the only one that experiences it. Like, none of us are perfect. The only difference is people are just maybe keeping it secret.
Exactly. And do you know what? I've actually realised, I was talking to my friend and this thing of like being scared someone's going to call you out is very... happens within our community. Like people are constantly trying to like test your gangster, like seeing what they can get away with. Like we've grown up in situations where it's like confrontation can happen at any moment. So we're staying on ready. When it's like at work, most people are actually scared of confrontation. They're actually not confrontational people. So no one's gonna check you in front of like 100 people because they will look like the asshole.
So do you think it's more prevalent amongst ourselves?
I think internally we think people are 100% always ready to check us. Yeah. Like I have that, like even walking on the street, you always just thinking like someone's going to test you somewhere. Yeah. But really, people are probably not even thinking about you. Yeah. And loads of people are scared of confrontation. So if you've done something, they'll probably go around a whole like circle up and down before they even gets back to you. Yeah. Like
it's true.
It's not going to like, it rarely happens like that. Yeah. Some people are mean and will do it. But if they do that, it's more of a reflection on them, as in that's not a very nice person. And people will see that. But that's just how I feel.
You're just making me think. So in terms of our community, do you feel like, I'm trying to think about how to phrase this, innit? But in terms of like the repercussions of imposter syndrome, do you feel like we are then displacing it onto each other? So like now we're being even more self-critical of each other, having high expectations, and also now we're just constantly trying to appease each other, or we might feel out of place whenever we do something that's outside of the norm. So let's say, for example, you do, I don't know, a career that's outside of the usual norm for a black person, or you speak a different way. Or you're from another area of England, not London.
Yeah. But the thing is, the box that has been made, what black people should fit in, wasn't made by us. Yeah. But we're continuing it.
Yeah, we're keeping it.
Yeah, we're keeping it.
We're owning it.
And if you grew up and you feel like you were out of that box, even a little bit, you're waiting for someone to catch you out. Yeah. So it's you feel like you're an imposter to the black community, because really, I'm meant to like this, I'm meant to be this way, but I'm really not that way, and they're going to find out soon. So like you carry that with you. Yeah. And I'm not trying to say that like in the workplace, it's black people have done this and we've created it. No, there are scenarios where we're made to feel like we don't belong. But I feel like a lot of this like ready for someone to call you out comes from this box that's been created for us that we might not fit into. And we've been like ready to be called out our whole life.
Yeah. But how do we get rid of the supply, man? Because it just seems like it's going to keep happening right now. Like kids going to be born, it's going to be the same process over and over again. So like how do we move forward?
I think encouraging people to do things out of the norm and have experiences that are different from your own experiences. Like when I have children, or I'm not a mother yet, but when I do have children, hopefully, I'm not going to make them do exactly what I've done. And like, if they say, Mum, I want to do this, like, yeah, okay, cool. Like encouraging people to take on different personalities, take on different ways of life, makes our box get bigger and bigger and grow, and soon there will be no box. But if we keep on like doing the same things and trying to make everyone fit into a certain mold, the box can never get bigger.
I think that's what the issue is. The box is small.
Yeah.
They're doing the same things.
Yeah.
And so like, by people actually branching out, they might be seen as an imposter.
Yeah.
But they're the ones that are changing the perception and increasing the size of the box.
Yeah, like this box isn't me. Like we don't have to be in a box and like anymore in this country anyway. Obviously, I can't speak for everyone and everyone's life, but I feel like as the box gets bigger and as we push it out, we will feel like less imposters because we can just be ourselves.
Yeah, but if we flip it, it is getting better. Let's be real.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
I feel like there's definitely more representation now than has been before. Mm-hmm. So I think those are things we need to hold on to as well. The fact that things are changing and that people are actually moving on to different sort of career paths or just, I don't know, different walks of life, innit? And just sharing experiences more. Because before, everyone's a bit silent, not really trying to say too much, but got people willing to share a bit of light of what they've gone through, innit? So it's not necessarily just glorifying their achievements, also talking about times where they've really struggled as well.
Yeah.
So like, I actually got a question for you.
Go.
Can you think of a time where you've had like, let's just say it was a big challenge, innit? Like, can be career-wise, can be personal, just something that really hit you, but you overcame it, innit? Don't tell me something that you haven't overcome, innit? That's
what I'm saying. Like, when you, like, I don't actually have
no, it's
a
cool.
story
If
like
you
that.
don't, you don't.
Yeah, like, I don't have anything that I can think, okay, that was a big challenge for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be because I don't approach things like all as once. Like I'm very like a planning person. So like when I do something, I've probably planned to do this like 3-4 years ago. So I've like made small steps to reach it. Wow. Yeah. I'm like that. I can't help it. Like I have to plan everything in my life. So it's like I don't approach things like all at once and try to like climb this big hill. Like I forward think.
Yeah.
So, and I haven't had any luckily, I haven't had any traumatic events in my life that I've had to like overcome. So yeah, I've been quite a
that's good, man. Obviously, if you haven't, you haven't. Yeah, don't force it.
No, exactly. I'm not trying to force a struggle Olympics. Like no.
Yeah, no, that's another thing to show as well. Like, not everyone has a struggle story, but like some people always want to act as if, oh yeah, this happened and that. No, like some people just have a calm upbringing as well. Yeah,
and like I'm not gonna be like talking like just because I'm black. Like No, not
some people are like, oh yeah, you know how it is because you're black and that. Like, just want you to understand the sort of struggle. Like, everyone's struggle is different depending on the 100%. Environment. You might have both parents, you might have one parent, you might be from a different area, but like, it's also the assumption that everyone's gone through the exact same experience. And if they haven't, that can also be how someone is also isolated and seen as an imposter. Yeah, and I'm not
saying obviously I'm black, so I've had the black struggle or like the black ignorance, and I've obviously been a target of racism before, but not obviously, but I have been one before. But I don't actually take it into like my heart. Like I don't take other people's ignorance or racism. I try not to take it personally and don't let it like have a damper on like how I am. So I don't think of that as like a trauma or have that as a traumatic experience.
No, it's good. It's good because honestly, like I feel like all of these things can just allow people to be more accepting that everyone's different, innit?
Yeah.
Like, we're not gonna go through the same experiences in life. But what would you say is the main thing that you want people to take from our conversation?
To be yourself. Don't be confident, and don't be scared to expand the box that you feel like people have put you in or you've put yourself in. And try to, if you want to reach your goal in life or something that feels unattainable, spread out the goal. Make it, instead of a 1-year goal, a 2 or 3 year goal, and do many steps in between to get there. Like money, don't be motivated by like, you need to make 100K tomorrow. Like it's all, we have a long life. Like you can take your time. And if you take your time, you normally end up with better results. So that's my key takeaway.
I like Lauren, come on. All right. Thanks for coming on.
No worries. It's good to have a chat.
LinkedIn. What's your LinkedIn?
I think it's just Lauren Hendricks.
All right, cool. Yes. Obviously, she might want me to cut that out as well. It didn't seem like you wanted to come out.
No, I was thinking like, what is my LinkedIn? But yeah, it's just my name.
All right, cool.